Hi, folks. Welcome once again to the Video Game Choo Choo podcast. This is episode 368. It's quite a wild number here. There are like multiple like special days that this is. We're recording on Friday the 13th, but it's also like, isn't it like International Left-Handedness Day or something like that? LV, who is with me today?
Yes, it's apparently an international day. So, all you left-handers there, it's your day. It's your day to sin. Go out there, right with your left hand. Hell yes.
Be proud of being the.
Don't apologize for your left-handedness.
How many people are like? What's the ratio on that nowadays?
The ratio? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you know, obviously we do not discriminate on handedness, much like how we don't discriminate on most other things.
Let's see. First number I'm getting is 10%. That's a pretty big number.
Yeah.
I wonder if that includes people who are ambidextrous, so you can do both. That's an even more powerful ability. Yeah, I was always I'm right-handed. I was always jealous of left-handers because I was like, damn, that's nuts. That's wild. But you know, again, it's just it's whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I think about like, wow, there's a lot of things in this world not oriented for that. Like, again, like looking back at school, right? The desk that is flanked on the side, that's a right-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of things that would be difficult if you're only left-handed for sure, but I always thought it was cool. Yeah, I was like, that's cool. But then, yeah, it's just interesting how historically it was literally demonized. So, you know, my jokes about sinning. That's nuts. That's weird. Like, I'm glad we've become far from that.
It's just another little thing that that's interesting about the world is that some people are better at using one hand than the other. That's, you know, that's just cool. You know what else is cool though? Video games. Yeah. We have quite a bit to talk about. I don't even did I introduce who I am? I don't even think I did. I'm John. I'm the podcast host. Yeah, and, like I said previously.
At this point, it's kinda, yeah.
Yeah, we do have
LV
to be
along fair, with yeah, we might have a new listener. That's important to reiterate.
Of course.
Yeah. So if you're a new listener, welcome.
Yes, we want to welcome you if you're listening for the first time. If you've been around for a while, you know, thanks for continuing to support us. Let's go right into talking about what's going on here. So there was a lot of news this past week. There's just a lot of content here that we can talk about here. Some good, some bad, some stuff that I'm really excited about, some stuff that I couldn't care less about. I want to just get into the news because there's a lot, and I think it's fun to get into that. So I think the first thing we could bring up, because I think it would go right into something that you can talk about pretty easily, is there was a Nintendo Indie Direct, Indie Showcase, Indie World, whatever they call them now. It was pretty jam-packed. Not only that, but like they dropped a bunch of games day of that I was not expecting at all. So first off, they showed some of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is the game by the Lethal League folks, which is just a new Jet Set Radio. Like they even got Naganuma doing the music. You know, whenever they could peel him away from being a freak on Twitter. It looks like a really solid game. If you're into the Jet Set Radio / Jet Set Radio Future brand of title, it looks good. You know, like I think Team Reptile does a good job of like handling movement in games. Like Lethal League, it feels like something that would be completely impossible to control, but I think it does a great job at like being reasonable even with how fast it is. So I think it fits really well for something like a Jet Set Radio type thing. I am looking forward to seeing more of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it really looks stylish, and it exactly fits that tone pretty much to the T. So
then they announced that Loop Hero is coming to Switch. That's gonna be this holiday. That's the card RPG where it's like a world builder as well. It seems pretty cool. I think Rose got into that quite a bit here. Also, I'm just reading this off the Polygon article, so this wasn't like necessarily in like how it was presented. I'm just kind of going based on what's written here. They talked a bit more about that new Shovel Knight puzzle game, the Pocket Dungeon. I guess they hadn't announced a Switch version yet, but they did now, and the amiibos will work with this game. The ones that they announced previously. That's neat. It's just gonna be like a little puzzle crawler. Looks cute. Tetris Effect is coming to Switch.
Ooh boy.
That's a pretty wild pull there, but Tetris Effect is a good game, so that's neat.
I'm surprised it didn't port earlier. Like, it's very much like Tetris's origins is a portable game, is it not? Or like, am I mixing that? Like, it came out on the Game Boy. That was
so.
I could be wrong with that history of that, but
the original version of Tetris that like Paginov like originally made was on PC.
Ooh,
like,
okay, you're right. You are right. Yep.
Yeah, like the personal computers that they had in the Soviet Union. But yeah, they ported it to Game Boy. That was I forget if the Game Boy and the NES version
in terms of international. It released. Yeah,
it became the sensation that it was on Game Boy, because it was very much marketed to like, hey, your kids play video games, but this thing you can have it on the airplane. You could play this little puzzle game.
The perfect portable puzzle game. Yeah, it's on everything.
I mean, yeah, it's still fantastic. Like, Tetris is still fantastic, and Tetris Effect is a good version of that. And, it's going to have competitive, cooperative. I guess it has friggin' rollback netcode, so that's pretty funny.
That makes sense these days, especially.
Some other puzzle games they showed were Toem, which I think has been out already. Or no, that was a new game, I think, and that I think is coming out this spring.
It's not quite out, but it's been demoed like across the different different virtual game shows recently, and I've tried it. It's basically like a photography puzzle game. It's very sweet, very cute. It's another photography game. I'll just say that it's a little hard to describe in style, but it's certainly something that if you're interested in that stuff, you gotta. Yeah, here's another photography game. Go for it. But it's also interesting that it's not a 3D photography game. It's outright like this is like 2D flat like visuals with semi-isometric too. Like you can kind of tilt the map and what have you. But that's what makes it interesting too when it comes to like some things that happen in it are like like you have to find stuff and they're like hidden behind a building, so you have to like play around with like how you use the camera too, in addition to finding things you need. But yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to, because it's very cute.
And then they also announced that there's going to be a version of Metal Slug Tactics on the Switch, which that's pretty nice. We are all pretty excited about that. I mean, there's of course the baggage that comes along with SNK, but let's be real, there's baggage with most video games these days. But just be informed and make your decision. We have the next game that's being published by Chucklefish. They also published Stardew Valley, Risk of Rain, Starbound, Wargroove. This is Eastward. I think this has been pretty hyped from what I've seen. I think people have been comparing this to your Earthbounds and all that, which unfortunately these days I feel like that is a bit played out. There's all those jokes.
Or at least the description of like, this is an Earthbound, like, used way too loosely in ways that I don't think should, like yes, there is a particular aesthetic, but I think when you say that, you gotta be careful. Like, I think you have to be very keen on like, yes, this also has the style of what that writing, that game's writing, that series is writing, the Mother series. Whereas I think unfortunately a lot of things throw that term when it's like, oh, it looks like it. And that's fine, but Earthbound did not invent how like that particular style looks like. It's like using pixel art, like you using low bit pixel art. That's Earthbound did not invent that, but fair enough. Like this, we're saying it right now, but this could potentially be one that legitimately I think deserves that label. But yeah, very little information on it, but beyond this like interesting trailer where it's a role playing game, and it seems like it's set in an apocalyptic setting, but perhaps like in like an Earthbound vein, like there is something like a little more optimistic about like some of the dark stuff it seems like it might go into. I don't know, it seems promising in that way. Like again, we I think a lot of us here on the site too have like talked about like a post-apocalyptic fatigue and like sick of the cynical shit, right? Like we want to see something a little more different when it comes to that. But yeah, not a lot to say about beyond it looks interesting, and looking forward to that as well.
That's coming out September 16th, so that's real soon.
Yeah,
that's like a month away.
Pretty soon.
Before I guess we get to the wild aspect here, so They also showed a few, like a sizzle reel of some stuff that's coming to Switch, like Astroneer is going to be in January. 100 Days Winemaking Simulator is this winter.
I played that for a bit.
Gang Beasts is this winter.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Lumberjack is next year, and Far Changing Tides is early next year. So then maybe the craziest part of this stream was that, usually when they have an indie showcase, there'll be like, okay, there's like 1 or 2 games that are available today. Well, this time they decided to do 6 games. Or no, 7 games all at once, basically. And so these didn't just come out on Switch, they came out on everything, basically. So those games were Boyfriend Dungeon, Necrobarista Final Pour, Garden Story, Islanders Console Edition, Slime Rancher Plortable Edition, which that's a pretty good name, Plortable, Curious Expedition 2, and the most surprising one, honestly, Axiom Verge 2. I did not think Axiom Verge 2 was done, but it's done. It's out right now. That's just wild to me. All of it is wild to me. So, that was the indie showcase. I guess we could just kind of roll right onto that, because I know that you have been playing quite a bit of Boyfriend Dungeon. You have your opinions on that, so please.
I do have opinions, and a lot of people also have opinions. Totally valid opinions, though, of course. Like, I think every opinion said about this game is completely valid, and I weirdly agree with all of them. I don't know if that makes sense in terms of both the negative and positive opinions about this game, but Boyfriend Dungeon. Okay, Boyfriend Dungeon, developed by Kitbox Games. They're a Canadian-based video game studio. They have done things like Moonwalkers, the Lucifer Within. Like, they have done some, like, a little more quiet indie hits. Like, they're not something that, like, a lot of people talk about, but if you mention it, like, okay, a good chunk of people will be like, oh yeah, I played that, like, that's cool, I like their stuff. Boyfriend Dungeon has been in a weird developmental cycle where it took longer than what even the developers admitted to foreseeing. So, if anyone was a backer for this game was supported through crowdfunding, certain things like, oh, here are more characters you can unlock as some of the goals you can hit additionally. But this game has been touring, like, game shows for, like, more than 3 years at this point, which is a very long marketing cycle, especially for something like this, for an independent game title as well. Yeah, that's unusual. Usually it would be like, usually the moment, like, something is, like, now being, like, marketed this heavily, like, it's like, oh, this game is almost going to be done. And yeah, this game was also, the development of this game started way even before the pandemic, but certainly at a certain point, like, that, when the shit hit the fan, like, that definitely added another obstacle to things. But the developers were at least very, like, transparent now, especially recently, about, like, being apologetic about it and be like, hey, yeah, we totally underestimated what we could do with this game, and, like, the sort of things we wanted to do it with, which was essentially they wanted to do everything except a farming sim, shockingly. just to again allude to my issue with, like, too many independent game projects want to be a farming sim, but again, that's a different topic altogether. But yeah, Boyfriend Dungeon, it's shockingly here. Like, yesterday they dropped an email to backers like me, I did back this game, saying, here's a code, but the game's not available yet. And it was like, oh my god, why are they doing this? But again, it was just a funny acknowledgement of their awareness of, like, people's, like, growing impatience with, like, what's the deal? This game acts like it's available, but it's not, And lo and behold, the Indie World Show happened, and, like, oh, surprise, it's available now today. Like, oh, okay, sure, cool. So yeah, I hopped right into it. And yeah, Boyfriend Dungeon is a dungeon crawler game with dating sim elements. And it takes place in Verona Beach, the town of Verona Beach. It seems to be like some sort of fictionalized California. I think Verona Beach is a location in the GTA series, actually. But it's the name also. It's also a name of a real place in upstate New York, which is just funny because I know what that place is, and it looks nothing like what this game is. So okay, here's a fictionalized version of Verona Beach, which is not like the real thing. And essentially, yeah, your character, who, yes, you can choose your character's pronouns. It's very flexible with that. You can actually change your pronouns and appearance no matter how you want it, like whenever you want to, which was cool. Like, you're not locked into that. But this is a really strange, wacky world where, it takes place in an urban contemporary setting, but specifically an urban fantasy setting where the concept of fighting in dungeons is a normal thing. Like, that's just a normal cultural phenomenon, apparently. They call it them dunges, like D-U-N-J. It's a little weird. It's like, oh, okay, but like,
The dunge.
It sounds weird. Yeah, dunge. But in the context of, like, you know, the game slang and whatnot, it makes sense. It's like, oh, okay, this kind of fits. But I can see why, you know, someone else has, like, a weird aversion to it. But, like, yeah, dungeons are a normal, like, thing that exists where, like, out of nowhere, maybe a place will turn into a dungeon. And it's like, whoa, okay, weird. And there's this whole culture, too, around, like, yes, some people are able to transform into weapons, like, literally. Like, literally, there is, like, a line and species of people that are, like, humanoid humans, like, who can just turn into weapons, like, sure, whatever. And at the same time, there's this, like, this relationship with those people where some people can wield them. Some people have the ability to wield them or understand how to wield them. So yeah, it's like a crazy, weird contemporary world, like, similar to ours, where fighting in dungeons and, like, weapon play is just a normal thing. And there are just unsaid and also said rules of, like, how those things work. And the game very much is making fun of things like Persona, I think, where, like, they outright reference things like, yeah, the monsters are sometimes manifestations of your emotions or things you don't like. Like, it outright is, like, kind of making fun of those things where, like, you know, some games that use, like, the dungeon crawling system as, like, a metaphor for something, you know, it's poking fun of that. And, like, it's very much a game up front that is not taking itself seriously. It outright is meant to be a funny game that is kind of making fun of the genre in addition to other games that use the genre in, like, more serious ways. So your character comes in, right? They're moving in with their cousin, whose name is Jesse. Like, you know, so there's a specific story here going on. There's a specific story attached to your character that unfortunately kind of, like, you know, kind of clashes a bit if you had a certain, like, you know, a certain headcanon, but alas, that's what the story is. You're moving into this new town because, you know, you're just trying to find, like, it's not really that deep. It's not like you're finding, oh, I need to find a job. It's more like you just want to explore things. And up front, the title is Boyfriend Dungeon. This is a romancing game. So, like, up front, the whole thing is, like, you're just there for a good time, really. You're just there to, like, seek out and, like, date people and maybe have hookups. And, you know, it's very upfront about that. Like, you know, this is a very, like, romance, like, forward game. And if that's not for you, you know, it says it in the title, right? So you start, like, getting into the gist of, like, the whole dungeon crawling thing, like, literally in universe. Like, your cousin's like, yeah, here's what goes on in this world. You should try it. Maybe it'll help you meet new people or meet weapons you can date. Like, it's just, they say these things just straight, like, as if that's, like, normal in this world. And yeah, it works like any other dungeon crawling game. Like, you go to these places, you go to these dungeons, if you die, you know, you respawn. In terms of, like, your relationship with the weapons, based on, like, how, like, your relationship furthers with them, you know, whether or not be, like, you going on, you know, you do things like you go on dates with them, or you give them gifts, or, well, usually you would give them gifts, but, like, your advancement of your relationship with these weapons is, like, what, empowers them more. It's what, like, advances their level. Like, it's like what advances their skill tree and improves upon them. You know, it's like mastering a skill, essentially. So that stuff is pretty necessary to deal with. At the same time, there are moments in the game where you can just veer for a more platonic interactions with these characters. But up front, it's very much like, yeah, these people are like, these weapons are attracted to you and you're attracted to them. So that's so that's just something to be clear with, so yeah, like, yeah, again, like, you know, so for instance, one dungeon is a mall, and you're gonna fight things like like these electronic devices that come to life, and yeah, you just make your way through them, and along the way, you will find other weapons you can collect and possibly date. Much of the game's UI is, like, through a cell phone, like, you know, smartphone. And that's pretty cool because there's kind of like a texting system going on where, yeah, that's how your weapons talk to you. And that's how you kind of build up your relationship with them. And that's how some of the story beats are told. Yeah, and it's also where the settings are. There are also, like, interesting things going on with the game's accessibility settings, which I thought were interesting and, like, very considerate, in which, like, yeah, for instance, you can actually turn on a shield to make things a little easier for you as you're playing. And one of the biggest things that's going around that press is, like, you know, losing their minds over, which understandably so, I agree, because I have never seen this in a video game before, is, like, in the beginning of the game, you actually can turn off the fact that there's a mom character, like, your main character's mom, like, will be very, very suffocating to you in in an intentionally loving maternal way, like texting you a lot, checking in all the time. But a friend in the game, you can actually turn it off. And that was the first time I've ever seen a video game, I think, do that sort of thing in regards to like being sensitive to potential triggers around parents. Like that's neat, and not even entirely around negative relationships. Maybe one had with a mom, and if you see this, like, oh, I don't like this makes me uncomfortable. But for instance, I know someone else who's playing the game and they lost their mom recently, unfortunately, and they chose not to turn it off. But for them, like they mentioned, like, yeah, this was allowed. That was a little tough for me. It reminded me a lot of, of my experiences with my mom and stuff. But, for things like that, it's just very considerate that this is the first time I think I've seen a video game explore like a parent related trigger. Mm-hmm. And yeah, in general, like, it's a very fun game. It's a very fun game. It's a game mostly about good vibes, right? But unfortunately, there are some bad vibes in it. Like in particular, I don't think this is going to be a huge issue, but certainly I think this particular aspect in the game is going to be really a subjective thing, unfortunately. Like I personally don't, well, I kind of do have a suggestion for a solution perhaps. And Kid Fox is very open to feedback. Like they do have a Discord server for this game, I believe. And yeah, mm-hmm. I believe they're very open-minded to hearing things. So I think people should be definitely encouraged to speak their mind about like, hey, this bothers me, or like, hey, I have such, suggestions about this, especially for a game that had such a tumultuous development cycle. Mm-hmm. But there is another content warning in the beginning of the game is that you're going to encounter like, it explicitly says something like references to emotional manipulation and stalking. It's like, whoa, okay, what does that mean? And it's like, yeah, I play tons of romance games. I play tons of, and like, based on my, like, social life experience, yeah, okay, that's unfortunately expected. Like, you're gonna run into bad people. There's gonna be, like, toxic shit you're gonna run into, especially when it comes to, like, romance relationships and seeking those out. Of course, that's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. And I didn't expect it in the way I did, like, especially for a lot of other people, because people did not see this character at all in any of the marketing material. Like, it's not what people expected. But, for instance, there's one character named Sunder. Like, he is voiced by Sungwon Cho, aka ProZD. I totally forgot about that, which is really funny. And he's like, if you've seen the art for this game, it's literally the suave-looking Fabio type guy with the rose in between his mouth with like his shirt just popping out. That is ProZD voicing that character. It's really funny. He's like the poster boy of the game. Yeah. Like his character type is kind of like a playboy, and like you meet another NPC who's like, yeah, he's gonna break your heart. He's gonna, And I thought like, oh, okay, the warnings are maybe associated with that character. Like, okay, yeah, like, oh, okay, that's fair. Like, this guy is like a player. He's like he's probably only seeking out to have just like a one night stand with, potential manipulation shit can happen there, right? And it turns out I was wrong. It might be referring to that character too, but there's also another character that you kind of cannot avoid because he's actually an NPC in the game. So I do have to spoil this game to talk about it. So anyone playing Boyfriend Dungeon, I'm going to talk about Boyfriend Dungeon spoilers right now. Okay. And the character's name is, you're warned. And the character's name is Eric. And Eric is like the weapon shop, sort of a crafting weapon shop owner. So yeah, you're not buying weapons, but you're buying, you can buy ingredients from him in terms of like improving items, making items, all that. Eric is actually one of the first non-weapon NPCs you meet after your cousin. So Jesse, your cousin, who you live with in this game, he's like, yeah, I should set you up with a date and meet Eric. Like, he, and like, help hook you up with, figuring out the wielding shit, with, wielding the weapons, what have you. And you have like a date with Eric out front. It's like, it's outright framed as a date. It's like, oh, okay. And you're okay with that. And Eric is very pushy. Eric is very flirty with you up front, and it's like, okay, whatever. He's just like one of those, he's a fuckboy, basically. He's like a thirsty type. He's like, oh, okay, he's a little too much. And then it really escalates. Like, he keeps texting you. At some point, he will leave you an unsolicited gift at your door, like a rose. And it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty weird. And at a certain point, he will start stalking you. He will outright start, like, when you're having dates with, like, the weapon characters, he will just outright start popping in sometimes. And the language also, like, Eric uses very, like, wow, like, you're very gaslighty. He also has some weird shit going on where he has, like, a weird prejudice against weapon people. Like, what is going on? Like, is there fantasy, there's a little fantasy racism there. It's like, oh, okay, that's a little, like, he has definitely some sort of weird superiority complex over, like, specifically like, oh, I prefer pure weapons and not the weapon. I don't know, like something like that. It's again, this is such a weird society where we have to acknowledge that there are people who can turn into weapons and they just function as normal human beings like all of us, but also, yeah, regular weapons exist. So what is the dynamic there, right? But yeah, Eric is like a shitty character. He's intentionally designed to be a shitty, toxic character. Again, playing mostly the beginning, because it's not clear to me as to like what the arc is in terms of Eric's progression and how he changes potentially. It's also not clear to me if he's like a legitimate romanceable candidate, because you know the metrics in which how your relationships are measured with the weapons, for instance, it's through their leveling system and it's through like their skill tree, you know, what have you. Erica does not have that. It's a little not clear. So that's kind of where the conundrum is. So, you know, like there's a lot of talk over like, you know, is Eric's character too much? Should it be toned down? Like, is Eric even like a romanceable character? Like, what is the deal with Eric? Is he supposed to be like someone that clearly is a bad character, a bad person, and his actions should be like, you know, like criticized, like in game and universe, like this is not okay. But there isn't a lot of agency around Eric. Like I have not found so far that you can avoid that. I have not found so far that is something like you can, like, it seems inevitable that he will pop in and be like a freak to you and like be a creep, right? So that's certainly a discussion going on. You know, other people are arguing, hey, maybe the content warning should be stronger. Which I think is my personal take on the solution to that, and in which I think people have genuinely felt triggered over Eric, you know, like, and that's totally understandable. But as a result, I think the developers should like consider that, right? Yeah, like, and like how Eric talked to you, I was like, ooh, I knew someone who talked exactly like this. I was involved with someone for a long time that I had a difficult time to get over when, like, was really bad person for me, and it's like, ooh, like, you know, you just feel that I felt the cringe of it for certain, like, I'm sure other people had really worse feelings than I did. Like, I definitely had to take a pause for a bit. I was like, wow, this is like taking me back. Like, ooh, this is so bad. Which goes to show like how strong the writing I think is in the game. Like this is genuinely, I think this is like a funny game, and I can tell a lot of moments in the game were very personal probably to developers. So in some way, I can't admonish the developers for like putting Eric in as a character that perhaps someone on the team, or if not multiple people on the team, had experience with, and this is their way of like conveying like their own like closure on what might have been a bad experience in their own past, and they're just trying to show that. But ultimately, it does boil down to the fact that, yeah, I am not so far enough in the game to further comment on the character, and like, does his character change? Is there certain ways that the player will have more agency around like stopping, you know, like it's not clear to me at all. So that's certainly something that like I think sticks out as like a valid criticism around like, how do we handle this stuff in games like this? Like, what is it, just a stronger content warning? Like, what do we do? You know, should there be a setting to tone down the dialogue, you know, like what's the, you know, but I think to deal with some of the more apparent issues, I think, with the game, whereas this is a more subjective, I think, flexible issue that needs more discussion on. You know, as long as this game has been in the development cycle where people joked like this game took so long, you know, even the developers were joking about it and they just needed to put it out, I think this game still needs a little more work. Unfortunately, you know, it's like, yeah, I have a lot of good things to say about it, with some criticism over like some of the content explored in the game, but I think this game is still incomplete. There's certainly elements to the game where it's like, there should be more characters here, or there should be, you know, and it's one thing to be like, this game is short, that was great, but then it's another thing to say, this game is short, I want more. From my understanding, it does feel like they probably cut out a lot of things they were thinking of just to put this game out finally, like to finally get it over with. And I hope this is something where it's like, okay, maybe there's DLC in the future. Maybe there's going to be additional content in the future. Again, not clear. But of course, like, I've let other people's reviews of the game who played a little longer than I have muddle that idea thing. And I think that's why that worries in my head now, where people are like, yeah, there actually are only like this amount of dungeons. And it's like, oh, that's kind of short. That's a little, you know? And there's also a lot of other things to the game where it doesn't feel like there's an end state. I think that's another issue where, right, your character's thrown in here, and there isn't really kind of real stakes beyond you. I'm just going to date around. I'm just here for a good time. There isn't really like a lot of strong tension. In a sense, there really isn't a lot of plot, right? There's kind of no plot. So I don't know like what the trajectory of the game is. Like, I'm going to reach a certain point where maybe that's a little more clear to me for more final thoughts on that. But I think that's certainly a concern where like the elements of the game don't feel complete. There definitely should be more here, especially in terms of like more content and perhaps solidifying the direction of it. Otherwise, like, it's definitely, like, a good, fun little thing that's, like, you can jump in and out of. And, like, yeah, again, I think it's a funny game. It's outright a funny game, and, like, the visuals are beautiful. But, yeah, it's certainly no Hades. Like, it's certainly no Hades for sure. And, like, I think after that, like, that game itself is going to muddle a lot of things in the similar genre. And, like, in terms of influence it, a lot of games are unfortunately going to be in Hades' shadow. But, I mean, I'm having fun with it. It's a cute, sweet game, and like, it's not exactly what I expected. It's certainly but yeah, like those elements of like, there's something missing here. Is coming in, but I'm certainly curious as to like how if my opinion will change if I further play it and like maybe finish the main content of the game, and if there will be more content associated. Because certainly I do have to note that as someone who's played Kid Fox's other games, they do have a problem, it seems, when it comes to putting out games that need a little more. Lucifer was one of their last recent games, which is a mystery investigative game, a murder mystery game, and like there were only like 3 cases in it. Like, it was very short, and that was like its main flaw. Otherwise, it's like a really interesting, solid game, but it was just way too dang short, and there doesn't seem to be intention to make more, like add more to it, but that was like a huge disappointment to many, including myself, because literally the first case is like the demo. Like, so it's like, okay, so you buy the game and then like you come into the, and that's it. That's the rest, the Boyfriend Dungeon just came out fresh out of the oven a couple days ago. So, well, yeah, so it's something to see, like, in terms of following, like, how the conversation around it will change and evolve, if there will be more stuff to it. And if Kid Fox will be possibly be receptive to some feedback coming their way, so.
I will say that, to an extent, like we talked about this a bit in our work server.
Yeah.
And I'm of the mind that like I think it's better critique to say that this wasn't done well than to argue against doing something at all.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, like I think with this character that you were talking about, I'm not going to spoil things, but like. I think that there are ways to present characters that are overbearing or present stalking in a story, but I would hate to just like outright be like, yeah, people shouldn't write about stalking, people shouldn't write about these difficult topics, because if you do that, you're gonna sand off all the edges on stuff, and nobody's gonna really be questioning anything, and so I think talking about these things, you gotta be a little careful with how you word it. You don't want to make it sound. And I'm not saying you're doing that, but I'm just saying that I just think that folks should be more ready to critique the singular thing, not the concept of something. In my opinion.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's our responsibility, especially to be careful and more nuanced about things. Yeah. I think for certain those more volatile opinions is like coming from someone who is just upset, and like I don't think they're coming from a place thinking critically about that. But more like it's definitely coming maybe from their immediate reaction to it, right? So that said, yeah, there are feedback channels to it, and like I think people should definitely go out of their way to like express that and not be afraid of that, right? And and just have that conversation for sure. I think a lot of the reaction towards this character also comes from the fact that this game was it's still like a comedy game outright, like this is a comedic game, but like the marketing around this game is very much like, this is a funny, lighthearted, fluffy game. Like it's look at this chart. And right, this character wasn't really present in or like any aspect of what this character does, like was not present at all in any of the marketing. So, not to say that like, no, the developers were not doing like, here, gotcha. Like they're not intending on trapping people, but for sure, like I think something as serious as that was pretty jarring for how the rest of the game feels, So sure. I agree. It definitely is more like a critique on like the story element and ironing that, like, hey, this is at odds with how the rest of the game feels, and that should be considered. Right. For sure.
let's hit some more news here. We can hit some of the more small stuff here. So, first off, Dead by Daylight is teasing a new killer, and it's been pretty weird. They've been teasing with some pretty bizarre stuff, like just tweeting out the letter A and going, ah! And something else they showed was a TV set that specifically said, I think it was like 19 minutes and 87 seconds. And so people were thinking it's one of two things. The thing that I think it's probably is Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Hellraiser came out in 87.
Yeah.
And, I think, I think on the TV it looked like something that came out of a TV in one of the movies. I don't know, I haven't seen those movies. But there's also people that are really worried that it might be Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, no.
Because, you're like watching TV screens and...
That's fair.
There was the Bite of 87, which is like one of the things that started Five Nights at Freddy's lore or whatever the fuck. I just know that from the Markiplier meme where he's like, is that the Bite of 87? I just know that. It's probably going to be Pinhead. I mean, like that fits the aesthetic a lot more.
No, that's definitely way more fitting than like Five Nights at Freddy's for sure. Especially in terms of the demographics at this point. Like, for sure. Like, I think they would go the more classical route, the more, like, refined route. Not to demean people who still, not to demean people who like Five Nights, right? Like, again, just, I'm not
like Five Nights at Freddy's. I feel like Dead by Daylight fans are people around, they're around our age or maybe a little older.
Like our group,
who really like horror movies.
For sure.
Who will be who are like, I'm excited to play as, Freddy Krueger or Leatherface. They're more into those kinds of villains.
Right.
So Pinhead is definitely that kind of character that I think people would be really excited for.
Yeah, and I think at this point we should not. There should be no new Five Nights. There should be not. No, please no.
No. Nobody should be doing any crossovers with that shit.
No, not at this point, especially.
No. But speaking of which, I'm a little surprised that they haven't hopped on. I mean, maybe they'll do it later. I'm a little surprised that Dead by Daylight hasn't hopped on Candyman yet. With the reboot happening, maybe they will later. They might that seems like something they'll probably end up doing.
They'll probably wait on that.
Yeah, that seems like a slam dunk. Y'all remember the Intellivision Amico that we all had our fucking, we all had our jape about. We all thought it was,
It is a jape. The whole thing's a jape.
It's a fucking ruse is what it is.
It's a comedy. Yeah, it's a whole damn bit.
It was supposed to come out this October. I mean, originally it was supposed to come out earlier, but it's delayed again.
Is this a scam? Like, this is one of those things where it's like, at a certain point, it's just not going to come out, huh? It's just not going to exist. It's just, this is a front for something.
I mean, look, I feel like Tommy Tallarico really did want to put out a console, but also I think Tommy Tallarico is too much of a dickhead to really understand what he's doing.
Absolutely. Very disconnected. Like, he's absolutely very disconnected from everything these days. Like, he is truly... I don't know, like this, I'm reading this sentence, like in this Kotaku article. The newly revived Intellivision Entertainment is led by famous video game composer Tommy. I don't know, like he is not
I would say he is a famous name if you are in the know.
Right.
But also he has tanked his credibility extremely quickly. Like, for a while he was doing a pretty good job. He was out there making like music that people really liked in video games. And then he did video games live and people really liked that. And he just he turned into a right-wing grifter. Like he's just a right-wing grifter these days, and the Amico is very much one of those things. Like, it's one of those things where, like, if you look at it close enough, you kind of start to realize what he's really saying, because he's just like, this is a game console that'll have all the family values on it, that kind of shit. So Yeah, he's just one of those kinds of guys. He's hoping to trick a bunch of right-wing families into buying the
Yeah.
Amico because they'll think, oh, there's not
like-
going to be any of those. None of these games will turn my children gay, like.
Right. They're not.
and-
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Because they're all like just solitaire and like tic-tac-toe. That's why they're it's not none of these are gonna be anything.
Right.
And it's gonna have fucking Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, or for some reason people who like have this weird cult attraction to him and just want to collect it maybe, but I don't see them playing it. Like I can understand the bit of like, yeah, I have enough money to like collect something this funny and bad, like, like just for the sake of saying I had it, right, for a joke. But yeah, you're right. It's attracting a particular market, or at least trying to, for a particular agenda.
It's dumb. They're saying that it's gonna be out by the end of the year. I doubt that. We'll fucking see. Again, this is something that like you kind of if this was made by someone who was normal, you would almost hope that it would be something good, because like I remember when I remember
feel bad for them. Yeah.
I remember when we first saw this, like Maverick brought up the point, like, this would be a cool thing if you were like, grown up, don't have that much money, your family doesn't have that much money. This could be something that you could all gather along and play together. But like, this shit is as expensive as a Switch Lite, and it has 100% like way shittier games than a Switch Lite would have.
For sure.
And you could buy the same kinds of games, but like higher quality on the Switch Lite, like, yeah, if you want to play, very basic, like solitaire, or, like there's fucking Picross games that come out all the time on Switch, and they're awesome. And those are like, $7 on sale.
Yeah.
There are options. And, like if the Amico was like $100 or something, then that would be something. But it's for nobody. It's a console for nobody. And, they're trying to coast on, like, Tommy Tallarico is trying to coast on his name, and also on the SJWs are trying to silence me, when, no, dude, your console sucks, and everyone's just making fun of it because it sucks.
For sure. Like, like on mobile and tablet devices, there are free games. Like, if you're a parent, you just gotta, like, watch out, and like, hey, you can play, and figure that shit out with your kid, and like, literally, yeah. Like, it's just, there are so many accessible ways for, like, kids to play games now that just requires, like, your parenting and, like, a little more guidance on. Like, yeah, it's scary. Like, like, there's so many issues of, like, yeah, it's still an issue with, like weird baiting videos and games that, like, seem, like, kid-friendly when they're not. They're, like, weird shit is happening to them. Like, it's definitely a bizarre thing going on. But it just requires monitoring, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want kids, like, accidentally buying microtransactions and all that,
yeah.
which, that's a layered conversation that I feel like we don't really need to have, because I feel like we all agree.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so him straight up saying, like, yeah, our games won't have microtransactions, that is a good selling point.
Yeah, it is.
To an extent.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
Right.
It's just, it's a mess. It's a mess. So here's a bit of news that truly drove everyone off the goop, and I fucking love it. I know you love it.
I don't know.
Idris Elba is going to play Knuckles in the Sonic movie, the second Sonic movie. It's great.
So it's both that fact, but also the tweet the image he tweeted out of this Oh my god. It's very aggressive. I think it's aggressive. I think it's sexually aggressive, because he knows he's a hot man. He knows a lot of people love him. And it's just
yeah, it's a good fucking tweet though.
It's just Knuckles clenching his fist. It's just
knock,
just a close-up of that fist. Knock knock.
Knock knock, it's Knuckles.
Very aggressive.
I'm like, Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my muscles. That's what Idris Elba is saying to all the ladies right now.
No.
There was that tweet by little Karibo that was like, I know, it was that like screenshot from The Office where it's like, I know what I do to Rogue the Bat.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm aware of the effect I have on Rogue the Bat. This is a lot of really good jokes, like Knuckles in the ending cutscene where he sees a bat with huge tits fly by with the Master Emerald, and it's him like choking on the hot wing. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, the episode when he was on Hot Ones. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's interesting. What this upcoming one is going to be about. I think people were like wondering, like, what happened to the Tails one? I don't know, because Tails was teased. But I don't know. I think all of them can be just in it. I don't know. Not a lot to know beyond this.
I mean, like, I think people were a little too hung up on them being like, oh man, they gotta do Sonic 2 will have Tails and Sonic 3 will have Knuckles.
Yeah.
Like, no, like...
People thought there was a specific order, which is... I don't think that matters.
Both. Who cares? Yeah, like, everyone knows... Yeah.
Throw them all in there, sure.
Yeah, like, everyone knows Tails and Knuckles. Like, add them both, Like, don't drag it out for so long. Like, I think it'd be they just need to go hog wild, I think they've done enough to set up what this world is. I think they could be like, all right, yeah, here's Knuckles, here's Tails, here's all of Sonic's friends, like we got to get Shadow up in here. Maybe that might be like the third movie might just be Sonic Adventure. I think that's when they go off the fucking goop and they just do Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
That's a fair trajectory. Yeah.
We need a shot of the president. Like, I think we need whatever the actual sitting president is in this movie, and we need them to have a picture of him and Sonic on the fucking desk. We need that.
Oh God.
Like, look, say what you will about any president, I just need that. Like, I just need that shot.
It'd be extremely funny.
Yeah,
it would be it'd be extremely funny.
Yeah, I think they just need to go for it, and I feel like casting Idris Elba as Knuckles is the first step in just absolutely going for it. I mean, honestly, I feel like Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik was maybe the first step, but this is like this is a leap forward. This is we know what we're doing. We're having fun with this. Yeah. God, I'm just imagining, like, I'd have to imagine, did Idris Elba like apply for this? Like, I'm just imagining Idris Elba just being like, hi, I need to be Knuckles, please.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I wonder if he is I don't know, was he a player of the games? Was he a fan? A lot of questions in his interest. I mean, he's a pretty well-rounded individual. He has an electronic music career. He outright is a DJ.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actively does that or if it's something he but he has done that. He has performed at concerts in Coachella. So he's. Yeah. I'm assuming he just has a very wild spectrum of interests that we should not be surprised by.
Totally.
As does everyone. So yeah.
I mean, I was thinking it might not be everyone, but I just think that there's always a chance for actors to take roles like that because their kids are just into it. I just think about rest in peace, Raul Julia, just being yeah, my kids wanted me to be a video game character, so I played the hell out of M. Bison, and that was his last role, and it was fucking amazing because he just went for it for his kids. For
sure.
I mean, if I were an actor, I would be first and foremost, I would just go for it for the fans, but I would also do it. If I had kids, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, you're. I feel like this is two sides of the same coin, where I was thinking about Anthony Mackie talking to his kid when his kid was oh my god, you're Captain America now. I feel like that's that's this affirming, powerful moment for him and his kid, and then if Idris Elba's just yeah, I'm Knuckles.
Yeah.
It's good either way. It's fun. It's all fun. I'm here for it. I'm here for Knuckles. I still haven't seen the first one, so I will probably see that, and then maybe things will be in the clear enough to go to the theaters by the time Sonic 2 comes out. That'll be a nice thing to see. A good fun flick for that. Okay, both of these are leaks, actually, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's 2 leaks that have happened recently.
Well, leaks.
One of them I don't care about. One of them I was making baboon noises when it came out. So I'll go the one that I don't really care about first. Those old PS2, Xbox era Grand Theft Auto games. I feel like people might look back on those pretty fondly. I couldn't really tell you. I was 12 when those were coming out, and I just remember, I remember trying to do the missions even as a kid, but I didn't pay attention to it because, I was too young to really get it. I definitely remember my brother just driving around running people over.
Right.
If you are interested in playing those games again, you will probably have a chance to do so because it sounds like Rockstar is getting ready to remaster GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas to be playable on PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, Google Stadia, and mobile devices. So everything. Everything.
Even the Stadia. There you go.
Even Stadia, yeah. So this was reported on by Kotaku, and they are saying that it's going to be a mix of old and new graphics. They are going to be like new Unreal Engine ports. They are going to update the UI, but the gameplay is pretty much going to be the same. It's going to be like a single bundle of the games, so probably like a $60 bundle, which isn't that bad, $20 for each of these games, basically. That's not that bad. And then it's being handled by Rockstar Dundee, who I guess were originally brought on to do work on Red Dead Redemption Online, but they're doing this now, which does explain why Red Dead Online's content has kind of slowed down. It seems like they're kind of, doing this work now instead. Kotaku's also saying that they are planning on also remastering the original Red Dead. So, Red Dead Redemption. I forget I always have to say that, Red Dead Revolver doesn't exist, folks. It's just Red Dead Redemption. But yeah, they are planning to remaster Redemption. They'll probably go ahead and do that once these come out, which, hell, these will be a massive success, obviously. It's GTA. Grand Theft Auto is like, sells like fucking crazy, and people have so many memories of these games, especially San Andreas. Like, people love San Andreas, and I feel like for good reason, like, I haven't played it in a while, but I feel like San Andreas, of all the GTA games, probably holds up the best.
It was the most expansive one too, to actually kind of had a little story there. That was I was never like, I never played the games again. Like, it was just not my interest, and still isn't, like middle school days. Yeah, like all the boys who thought they were so edgy playing a violent video game, like, come on. And then, the whole controversy around the hot coffee mod thing, like, it's sexy. That which makes me think, like, I feel like this, like, the remasters are probably not going to carry over the whole the cheat codes thing, because that's not how that works. I don't know, like, they probably won't, or like, I don't know what's going to happen there.
I'm sure you'll be able to just like do whatever cheat codes, but they're not going to have like hot coffee in there or anything
for sure,
like
no.
that. There's absolutely not. But I'm sure if you type in a code, you could spawn a tank whenever you want. That's how they'll still do that.
Yeah, I'm curious if they'll still make you like input like the whole like a whole cheat code of some sort, like a whole combination of some sort, or like will it be baked in setting you can probably unlock. I wonder if they're...
I'd be a little upset if they didn't make you put in... I'd be a little upset if they didn't make you punch in the code. Like, you should have to pull up Cheat Code Central or whatever website. I need to pull up those old, like, I want those exact codes to work. Like, I want to be able to pull out those books that...
Yep.
Yeah, I want you to have to be able to pull out the books that you bought at, like, the book fair that had all the codes in them for every game. That's what I want. I want that to all work. So yeah, this is unconfirmed, but it sounds like it's basically... it's... like, Rockstar hasn't announced it, but it sounds like it's legit. And it sounds like it's going to be coming out sometime this year. So, obviously things might get delayed because of COVID, and that's why they haven't actually announced it yet. But this seems like a pretty easy slam dunk from Rockstar.
Oh, yeah. And that does make sense, because I think there is an anniversary of the series coming around. So that makes sense why they would do this now. Yeah, There you go.
My nerd ass... I'm not going to play them, but I will just say they should also go out of their way to remaster... all the other they should remaster 1 and 2 and the London game. They should they should do that, and they should also they need to put out there was like those like Vice City and there like Vice City and San Andreas stories or whatever, those PSP games.
And the PSP ones.
The one that everyone really loves, all the real nerds love, Chinatown Wars. They got to put that on something.
No, it's worth remastering that whole series.
It's work, but listen, if anyone has the fucking money and time to do it, it's Rockstar. So
for sure, they're just everywhere and doing whatever, being Rockstar.
So the game leak that made me more excited is there was an interview between a YouTube channel, Din's Meteorite, who talked to the actress Jenna Coleman, who you may know from Doctor Who as Clara Oswald, or on Emmerdale as Jasmine Thomas, but also played the character Melia in Xenoblade Chronicles. She played her in the original Wii version as well as in the new definitive version, and they also did that DLC. In that interview, she mentions, it's been 10 years since I did the original Xenoblade, but they asked me to come back for a new game. And so, people at first were like, oh, she might have just gotten confused about like the DLC that she did for Chronicles Definitive Edition. Well, Imran Khan on Fanbyte actually said that no, actually going to be Xenoblade Chronicles 3. She is going to be in Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Okay,
so I don't want to go into spoilers per se, mostly because I don't really know them. But from what it sounds like, that DLC that was added onto Xenoblade Definitive Edition actually connects Xenoblade 1 and 2, which didn't really happen. Like Chronicles 1 and Chronicles 2 were very different, very separate. Yeah, but it sounds like this DLC actually connects them both. 3 is going to be about the characters that survive, that were able to survive that extremely long amount of time between the games, and like even into the future beyond 2. So this is gonna have like probably Blades from 2 and like Melia and some maybe other like robotic characters from 1 interacting together and going on an adventure.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
So it's all the characters that are like immortal or age slowly, basically, are gonna be the characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, or at least the ones that are returning. There will probably be new characters as well. So this sounds like something that they're going to announce soon, and it sounds like it's probably going to even be released soon. It sounds like something that is going to come out like early next year. It sounds like there were plans that this was actually going to be a game that came out this year, but it got delayed because of COVID. So it sounds like it's pretty much done.
There you go.
Which is crazy to me. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 it sounds like it's real. And it was like leaked from some tiny YouTube channel basically. So that's pretty funny. That's pretty fun.
Video games, sometimes they surprise you. But yeah, that's pretty exciting news. That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that if it does happen. But it sounds like it's promising. It will.
Now I got to get off my ass and play through Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Fuck.
I enjoyed 1. People had mixed feelings about it for some reason. I don't know.
I feel like it's just hard to go back to after playing 2. Two advanced a lot of the gameplay.
That's the thing. I never played 2, so that's why probably. So if I played 2, I'm like,
I wish I could lend you 2. I want you to play 2 so bad. I love 2 so much. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'll get to it. Especially if this 3 is coming out, I will get to 2.
All right. So there's one more bit of news that is the Blizzard check-in. I guess we'll do that real quick, and then
all right.
So it's just a quick thing here. So with regards to the whole scenario that is continuing to go on with regards to Blizzard, the continued fallout from the lawsuit, the continued the folks that are continuing to try to work for better conditions at Blizzard, it sounds like they are trying their best to at least scrape a little bit of the scum off the side of the boat, which isn't necessarily going to be patching the hole, but they're doing some work on this. So some of the folks from the so-called Cosby Suite from BlizzCon, who were basically the worst of the worst, the people that were the big sexual harassers at Blizzard, specifically Luis Barriga, Jesse McCree, and Jonathan LeCraft, have all been fired from Blizzard very recently. I just keep thinking about how you know, like, okay, so these guys were like very actively working at Blizzard as well. Like Luis Barriga was Diablo 4's director, Jesse McCree was Diablo 4's lead designer. And LeCraft is a senior was a senior game designer on WoW. So I guess I should actually get out in front before there's actually any issues here. So it does say, I'm looking at BlizzardWatch.com specifically. So McCree is actually the only one who was involved with the Cosby suite thing. Barriga and LeCraft, actually there is no reason given for their departures, so we don't actually know if they were involved with this. I apologize for saying that. They might be leaving because they disagree with things that Blizzard are doing. I don't know. There's two sides to this. They could either be being like, fuck this, I'm out, or they could have been involved with this whole thing and they finally got caught.
Right.
McCree, though.
Right, we don't know.
McCree deserves it.
McCree was specifically named, and yeah, he was in that horrible photo, like, outing people, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if these guys are leaving at the same time, that does kind of set sort of an expectation as to why it happened, you know, if they're, like, in the same group. Yeah, it's fucking rough. It's...
I think LeCraft was in one of the photos, too. I believe that was the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Barriga, I'm not sure. Barriga, I think, is the one that's a little unclear, a little murky as to his association with all this. Probably, it can easily just be complacency too, you know? Like,
right. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's worth noting these. Yeah, it's worth noting these guys were all in a lead role of some capacity, so that means they were like a manager to someone. That's what that means. Like, if you have a responsibility, like, you know.
Yeah.
So even if, like, you know, let's like rhetorically say, like, you know, if someone on this list was just who didn't actually do anything, but the fact that you are someone in a position of power and you saw your fellow managers, like the people in the same level as you, if not like probably even below you, like if you just stood there, that's a failure on your part to do like your basic like job to like ensure that you're a good leader, you know, like you're a good leader, you are setting example, you know. So I think that's valid that he was let go if that was just the minimum of what he may have done, to be honest. Like, you have failed your role.
Barriga was a director on Diablo 4 and so was probably in charge of some other stuff, you know, so being in charge of this of McCree basically and just letting him, you know, do what he was doing, you know, that's, you know, that's a real stain on your career there.
Right.
And I mean, I'm just thinking about how ingrained all this shit is. Like, they're like something that Blizzard Watch is pointing out. Like, yeah, you're gonna keep like scratching your head, or not even scratching your head, just being like, oh god, like they really named the cowboy man in Overwatch after this fucking guy. Like, holy shit!
Oh no.
And there's also a character apparently in WoW called Ysera of McCree, so it's even in that too.
They changed that. They changed that NPC maybe a couple other, like, you know, I'm not that familiar with WoW's like names. I did play it for a bit, but otherwise I'm not attached to it whatsoever. But like, yeah, I think they have changed that NPC in particular just to like, So I don't know what they're gonna do with McCree, the Overwatch character. Like, pretty tough. I know like a lot of Overwatch casters. There was actually something additional I would add to this. Like there was a piece of like, you know, covering like Overwatch League, like some stuff, you know, some stuff that's been following Overwatch League and covers that, like that side of the work, where casters have stopped saying McCree's name, apparently. Like, I don't know what the whole culture is around, like, I don't know what that means, but they keep referring to McCree, the Overwatch character, in a vague way now. They don't say his name.
The cowboy, yeah,
they say it was like the cowboy, like that guy, you know, or, you know, stuff like that. They avoid saying his name, like at events and stuff. So it's definitely an awkward situation, which a lot of people didn't know. Like, some of these characters in a lot of Blizzard's IP were named after real staff members, you know. So it's no one's fault that this it's none of the players' fault that this, you know, this is awkward. This is awkward for a lot of people. This is awkward for people who love this character, like, who, you know, who's distinct from the person he's named after. So I don't see Overwatch. I don't see the Overwatch team changing this name. I don't know what they can do. Again, Overwatch has no existing canon that makes sense, or like any canon at all. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But, you know, some people are like, oh, you know, his name isn't really Jesse McCree. It's just an alias. I'm like, what? Since when? But I just learned this today. Apparently, it's not actually that character's name, but sure, okay. So maybe there's wiggle room there, but I don't know. It's not. It's awkward.
He has 3 separate ages. Like the Overwatch canon is fucking horrible anyway.
It's a mess.
They can come up with whatever they feel like.
There isn't a canon.
There's nothing. It's fine.
Honestly, they could dramatically change this character's name and like whatever. It actually it fits in the mess that is Overwatch's non-existing canon. It's like, sure, his name is something else now. Whatever.
Right.
If it's too awkward now, yeah.
I guess the last thing that we can talk about here, because I did just play more Great Ace Attorney, honestly. I don't want to keep harping on that. I haven't finished the first game. I'm almost done, though. I do really, really love it. It's great.
Great, yeah.
I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm probably gonna take a break, though, because I got something in the mail. But don't worry about it. But we can talk about Back 4 Blood, because we both played the beta.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We have a VOD of, you know, I, Rose, Solon, and Scott. We all took a knack at the closed beta, so like around last weekend, which was interesting.
I don't know if by the time you hear this it'll still be open, but the beta opened up in general, and it was the same thing. They didn't like change anything. It was the exact same beta, basically.
Yeah, today, as of this date we're recording, there's the open betas going on.
Right.
But yeah, you can find the VOD of that, our play of that, and see what we thought. Like, as we'll probably get that up.
We'll get that up on YouTube soon. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a YouTube version up front. I think though the VOD of it is on the Twitch, which is VG Choo Choo.
Correct.
Yes. Twitch.tv/VG Choo Choo. I think the VOD version is up there, but the YouTube version will be up at some point. But
right.
Yeah, I'm actually curious on like your thoughts first, because
sure,
you probably had more. You seem to have like a more positive perspective compared to some of us. Whereas I definitely don't think I had the strongest negative opinion. I think I'm like a little more in the middle. But I'm curious about what you thought.
So I'm not gonna say that I like fell in love with it or anything like that. I just had like a pretty good time with it. I heard all of your complaints, and I do agree with some of the things that you said. I also did see that you had a lot more technical issues, which is unfortunate.
For sure.
Yeah. But to me, I just like ran through it. I had an alright time. Didn't really think too hard about it. I do agree that a lot of the things that are frustrating about it, there's a lot of just like overwrought mechanics. You got all the like weapon stats and like card perks and all that shit that's supposed to make it like just something. They're trying to make it different every time you play it, but it just feels like it's trying to get money out of you, trying to get you to, you know, buy weapon skins for your high class weapons that you bring to the end of the run or whatever, you know. It's just that sort of thing, and it's frustrating and lame, but I just thought the shooting was good. I thought that the environments were pretty well done. I like the special infected. I will say that there are too many special infected at once. Like the strength of Left 4 Dead was that you could get like 4 special infected at once if, you know, if they spawn smartly, or if, you know, if you're playing versus mode and, you know, 4 people are playing together and they like all ambush you together because they're smart.
Right.
That's one thing. But, like, you could get, like, 3 or 4 of the same dude coming at you, you know? It's not like, oh, here, you know, we have, like, one person's a jockey, one person's a charger, one person's a boomer, one person's a smoker. It's just like, no, there's, like, 3 dudes who are coming in that are, like, fucking all the same guys, you know? And then, even then, they'll have, like, 2 more of another type, and then another, like, it gets so overwhelming with the specials at certain points. But I just thought the base level of it, you can't have Turtle Rock make something that's like Left 4 Dead and have them not have that good foundation, in my opinion. I just thought that foundation was really, really solid. And I'd like to see them change things after the beta. I'd like to see them fine-tune it a bit, make it a little bit more playable. Maybe it'll be better. You know, maybe it'll be worth it. But there are some things that they aren't going to change because it's a Warner Brothers game. They got to make their fucking money. But there's something there, and I would like to see it polished.
Right, that's the difficult thing. It's like these are the devs who made the original Left 4 Dead. And like, we want to do that, but different. So that's like, so you either do that or you're just going to make another Left 4 Dead, but it's not Left 4 Dead. You can't call it that. So yeah, just to circle back on what you were referring to. Yes. So if you watch a recording of that stream I was referring to, I kept crashing. Like, and this is the nature of an online beta game. Like, I, for some reason, had this weird issue where every run, every mission, I don't know what you would call it, every chapter, my game just kept crashing. Like, it would just white screen, and, like, I could not do anything about it. Like, I had to, like, literally exit the whole game and just start, and at least during this beta period, I believe everyone else was alluding to the fact that they get a survey at the end of each round, or there was some sort of and I wonder if my firewall was freaking out and was like, no, what is going on? Why is your computer, and I think the survey was the crux of the issues, but I don't know. I also kept crashing in between, like, just trying to join a party too. I don't know. I had like a lot of crashing issues, but in terms of the actual gameplay, I did not have a problem in terms of like being in the middle of the game. Like, there was a little lag here and there, but that's internet stability, whatever. But yeah, oh god, yeah, I got the worst of the technical issues. I believe someone was playing on a PlayStation. Like the crossplay was weirdly like good. Like, it was just smooth. No one had issues. No one was dropping. So that was nice. That was cool, especially at this stage where I was just crashing for no fucking reason. But that aside, which again, I'm assuming that's just the nature of like how things are, right at this point, right? Just a lot of bugs that are hopefully not just going to be stuck in the final output of the game. But yeah, I generally agree with your criticism, right? Yeah, the inventory stuff is a little, like, what is going on here? Like, there's so many systems at player where like they want you to have a card, building system, just to add a little special stuff when it comes to your character, like, like, here's a buff in the beginning, like, here you get a little extra skill coming to play. A lot of that stuff, I don't know, like some of our more negative sentiment was like, yeah, like, we didn't feel the effects of that stuff really come into play, or like it wasn't very present. I think there needs to be a little, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just stuff like, here's a plus health, and it wasn't really clear as to, I don't know, just the dynamics of like the impact of like what the cards were doing to you were not really present, which I guess goes into what I thought, what I agreed with was a problem, which is I guess the nature of the gameplay too. But yeah, like, for sure, the card system seems like, here's a thing we can do we can insert a microtransaction gate on, which sucks. Which again, unfortunately, might be like your point about like, it's a Warner Brothers game. It's gonna this might be a thing that will just stick. Unfortunately, possibly, I don't know how they will fix this, but yeah. For instance, like, like, you're gonna find stuff in the middle of a map, and you can just pick it up, whatever, and it'll be based on like how much space you have in your inventory, like how much can you pick up, the limitation of how much you can pick up, and like what those slots are, but then you're gonna run into some other things where like it's for some reason gated by the in-game currency, which is weird, and sometimes it's not a card, sometimes it outright is something like a health item, which is just strange, So there's definitely something going on there when it comes to like, oh, you can, like, yeah, that's just a weird concept in general, as like, with this being a post-apocalyptic game and like the setting, it's, like, why is this a thing here? Like, why is money a thing, like, in this situation, like, especially from a narrative perspective, that's a little weird. But yeah, it unfortunately seems to circle back on like, yes, this might be a microtransactional tactic at some point. It's going to redirect you to that. So yeah, so that might be the huge crux of the problem when it comes to like that stuff. But yeah, it's a game that feels good. Like, it's a game that feels fine. Like, it's a shooty zombie game. That's what you have. It works. You get a gun, you shoot the thing. But I guess where my opinions lie is a little, it's a little stuck on and probably confused over like, I wonder if this is really going to be how the game will feel like, or if this is something designed specifically for the beta period. Like, like, it felt very railroady in like the design of like, you're going to have these 8 missions in one go, like, deal with it, and I don't know, something about that is very exhausting. Like, I don't know, like, something about that structure can be refined a little bit, where like, it doesn't need to be that long, whereas I think it's much stronger if there were maybe like, let's say 4 missions, and like each mission, like, I know, like, a criticism Scott brought up was, like, he felt tired playing the game, which is, like, oh, that's weird. Like, that's not something I should be feeling for playing a game like this, which requires, like, a lot of adrenaline and attention, which does speak, I think, to what I agree with, where like there was something weird about like how the missions were made out. Like you have to do so many of these things at once, and I wonder if like it means redesigning them around just being bigger versus like, yeah, you're gonna have to do a railroad of like 8 different things at, you know, like in one go per part. So again, I don't know if that was just a decision for the beta to like present all these things at once. Like here's a mission where you gotta like just complete the level, you know, just like, hey, just survive, like get to the end, get to the safe house. But then here's another mission where you gotta like, you know, start up a boat, for example, or you gotta blow up something, you know, like, I don't know if it was just purposeful where they just were like, we're gonna display all the different sorts of things at once. And I'm aware there was a second part, which I never even touched. So there's just a lot there. So yeah, so like, just something about how they felt were very railroady, which will segue into my next critique, actually, is I have a little issue with the design of how the special infected work, where like they felt all the same to an extent. You know, there was definitely something special about the Left 4 Dead ones where, yeah, unfortunately we're going to keep referring back to it. I think it is overshadowed by that, and we're making that clear that there is that bias we have here. But
yeah, so I will just say real quick that like, I think overall the design of the characters, and that bleeds over to the infected, the special infected, I guess they're called the Ridden here. The whole thing with that, this game does not have anywhere near the personality that Left 4 Dead did, and I'm just thinking, you know, yeah, like how memorable all the different special infecteds were in Left 4 Dead. Like, you know, you're just sitting there thinking like, yeah, I remember what a boomer looks like, I remember what a spitter looks like, I remember what a charger looks like. I couldn't tell you what any of the names of the special Ridden were. I don't know what they were called. They didn't matter to me, you know. There isn't anything as iconic as, you know, like they tried to make something as iconic as the tank. It didn't really work as well. You know, same thing with like the witch. There's kind of sort of stuff like the witch, but it's just like birds. It's like, come on, you know, like and then on a similar vein, the characters are nowhere near as fun, you know? Like there's nobody like Coach or Nick or Rochelle or Bill, you know, like or Francis, you know? There's nobody like as fun as those characters. Like the closest thing that a character has to a personality is the fucking Hoffman guy, who is just a 5G fucking like truther dude.
Yeah, he's a parody of like a tinfoil hat conspiracy, and like much of the dialogue in game was like shitting on this guy, which is funny and deserved, but it was like, oh, that's a little weird. That's like, why are they selling this character but not everyone else? It's a little weird.
At the very least, it would be way better if he wasn't the only character that had a like bombastic personality like that, you know?
Right.
Like you think about how characters would talk in Left 4 Dead 2, where like, you know, Ellis would say something dumb and then Nick would tell him to shut up, and then like Rochelle would tell Nick to like get off of Ellis's back, and Coach would be like
distinct,
like everyone had like a thing going on for them.
He'd be level-headed,
And in this game, it's just Hoffman being like 5 seconds away from talking about the globalists and everyone telling him to shut up. Like that's all it is. Like
right. Yeah, they didn't put a lot of personality. They didn't put a lot of sell into the personality of these characters. And again, I wonder, like, is this going to be better in the game? Like, I don't know, like, why they chose to, for some reason, like that character stood out the most. Because yeah, again, he was the most bombastic one. Like, why? Like, is that a fault of the, like, you know, why didn't they emphasize the other characters, which I felt like, you know, didn't stick out much. Like the mom character, she's interesting. Like she's interesting conceptually. Like, oh, that's cool. She's like a rad older lady who, you know, I don't know what her real name is, but like she's choosing to placate herself as like, yeah, I want to be like a leader. I want to be like a deliberate like parent character to like this group of people. But she doesn't say much. Like I don't remember anything memorable from her, but like just the concept of her is interesting. And it's like a shame I don't know much about her, you know, coming out of that. I guess even beyond the aesthetics and style, as I was going into, but even just the gameplay of the Ridden. So now that I remember, see, I didn't even remember that. I didn't remember they were called the Ridden. I don't think that word was even said in what we play at all. I don't remember
because it's not even a good fucking name for that. Like you have to explain.
It's a little weird to say.
You have to explain why they're called that. Like it's because they have like worms in them or something. So it's like they're ridden by the worms.
Yeah, like
it's
ridden with worms.
Like, come on.
Yeah, and then the players, they're called the Queeners. Like, come on. Like what? Like a sport? Like it's a little weird.
I mean, like that
like,
makes a little bit more sense at least because their whole thing is that
it does.
Is that this is kind of like after they've like people have started to gather back together, so they're like going on quests to like find supplies and stuff. That's more what it is. It's not like in Left 4 Dead where they were like trying to get to a safe spot.
It's more dire.
This is like like safe spots are already set up. It's just we're going out there back into the world to get items for people.
Yeah, that's what was cool. Yeah, there's a hub world and stuff, and that's like so that makes it like I think like outright said about this game is that this is a game that is a little more optimistic. It's a little more apparent that this is a rebuilding, but there's still zombies out there. But there's some rebuilding of civilization going on already. So it's a little more positive in outlook compared to Left 4 Dead, where it's like very dire. It's like what the hell, it's like it's very bleak. Whereas this is trying to be a little more optimistic. But yeah, what I was going into was that the zombies, the Ridden, I'm sorry, they just, even the special ones, they felt a little generic. So I thought the giant one, the ogre, I think it's called the ogre, it was cool because it's like, at least in the first time you encounter it, it's like, oh shoot, I have to like, there's like a choking point where like you have to like just chip away at it and hope like it doesn't step on you because that's like a near one hit kill. Like that was interesting. That was like you had to strategize around that and figure out like should we just run past it and figure out a place where it would hold it back a little bit so we could just chip away at it until it goes away at some point. But then I can't really name what goes on with the other ones. A lot of them are just like, this one's slightly faster, this one's slightly stronger. And then, going back to your point where like some of the levels were designed in such a way where the difficulty wasn't really polished out, where like too many of them were spawning at once. And I wasn't playing this level at this point, but Scott and someone were playing one where you there's a certain point where you make it to a church and then you kind of have to like there's like a little sub game where you have to like block out the windows with these planks you find. And then so many of the special like Ridden were popping in and that was just way too difficult, especially with only 2 players and then the other 2 had to be bots filled in. Like, it didn't look like it was a really like, the difficulty for that scenario was leveled out. But, like, there were, like, a giant boys. They were not the ogres, but they were slightly smaller than the ogres, but they were still big. Were just popping in, making the whole, like, strategy of, like, we gotta block in windows, but they keep breaking it. It was clearly, there's a lot of rough patches. Like, again, like, I just concur, like, just reiterating what you said about the difficulty across many parts, where some parts felt easy and other parts felt too hard. Because, again, mostly because there was too many special and, like, Ridden popping in at once. And yeah, I would say that's just the general consensus of my perspective. It's like, there's just a lot of rough patches to it that I could see being fixed easily. And again, but then it then boils down to my own personal confusion over like, did they just, was this packaged specifically for the beta? But if that was the case, that wasn't like, this isn't a great first impression, Yeah. It's like, you gotta, so it's like, I don't know, it could have been repackaged better. And which, again, leads into the other issue of like, the world building, the characters don't seem fleshed out, or like they maybe are, but I'm not seeing it. I didn't feel it that way. Right. So yeah. It's something that's rough. It's something that's definitely rough. It's beta. Again, it's in beta stage, but I don't know how much of it will dramatically change, right, from it. I certainly did file some bug reports for sure. So, for sure, there is a page you can officially submit in bug reports, so that's also good that they do have a feedback channel of some sort. So, whether or not they respond to it and look at it thoroughly is up to them, so...
All right, well, I guess that's our Back for Blood thoughts there. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up, or shall we go to questions?
Let's go to questions, yeah.
If you want to send in a question, go to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask. You'll sound like these fine folks right here. We got one from Wideboy64 who asked, what video game world do you think would have its own version of the show Jellystone? Have you seen any Jellystone?
I don't think... Why is that? But it sounds familiar? I wonder...
So... I actually watched an episode of it. It's an HBO Max series. It's all the like old Hanna-Barbera characters. like Yogi Bear and Adam Ant and Jabberjaw and shit like that.
Yeah, no.
It's a CH Greenblatt show though. Yeah, so it's pretty okay. Like it's very much for kids, you know. I only watched the first episode, but I like laughed out loud at least once per like segment. So it's
okay,
good.
I know what this is. Yeah.
I mean the whole bit is that they're all like living in a town together and having all kinds of fucked up weird adventures. So what would be a game series with a bunch of wild characters that could have an adventure, have fucked up little adventures in a village of some sort?
I mean, as is, Kingdom Hearts tries to do that with Final Fantasy, but not enough of that.
I was gonna say
not enough of that.
I was also gonna say Final Fantasy, but the real answer for that would be
lacking in the Final Fantasy department.
I mean, it's that like World of Final Fantasy game is basically that, where they're all chibis.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
basically that.
Yes. Yeah. I played that for a bit. I definitely should play more of it, but like, yeah, for sure. They absolutely will have fucked up adventures together because they.
Yeah, they're all just
completely at odds with each other.
Yeah, they're messed up little creatures all hanging out having adventures.
They're all messed up teenagers. If you think about it, it's like, oh no, this is gonna be essentially like a reality show type situation. All these messed up hormonal teenagers and those problems inflamed by a world crisis, each of them. Like, that's every game. That'd be interesting. There's definitely a lot of other ones I can think of. Like, thinking about like big series, like big multimedia series.
The Capcom fighting game characters, like Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, Rival Schools.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Gosh,
yeah.
There's so much cross in there. I think a big variety for sure.
I mean, like at this point, Street Fighter is basically just a big crossover with those, because I mean they're adding Akira from Rival Schools into Street Fighter 5, and I wouldn't be surprised if Street Fighter 6 they just give up and they're just like, yeah, all right, here we're putting Morrigan and like Dimitri and I don't know who else.
Exploring.
Yeah, we're just going to put a bunch of characters in. Yeah, I could see them doing that, finally. But I also want to see them go into all kinds of weirdo adventures. Like, I want someone to have to, like... I mean, I'm trying to think of what kind of adventures they would get up to, but the fucking... The plot... The first two episodes, the first two segments of Jellystone is Yogi Bear gets obsessed with eating everybody. So yeah, he is, and then the second episode is Grape Ape falls into a food coma and almost kills everybody.
Holy shit.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
what
like
kind
tapping
of...
into all the exaggerated qualities about them and then making fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there'll be an episode where Ryu just wants to fight everybody, so they got to stop him fighting all the time. Like, you know.
Yep, completely feral for sure.
Shulis sent in two questions here. The first one is Glover a horse due to his legs being fingers?
Well, no, isn't he on only 2 fingers? Am I? Let me look at this. Look at this creature's anatomy.
I don't think Glover is of this earth, so I don't think we should be confining.
Glover's a hand.
Yeah, Glover's a hand.
Glover's a hand, and you know. Of this earth, I'm not sure. I can't answer that either. Glover very much looks like a bipedal creature. I don't know. Like, I try to figure out that train of thought with that question. Is Glover a horse? No, because a horse is not bipedal, and a horse has 4 legs. And yeah, like Glover doesn't even have like a neck. You know, I'm comparing this with the anatomy of a horse. I'm trying to figure out the train of logic that way.
What else? But is like, because you know, like birds have like those big long fingers. You know, maybe you can consider Glover a bird at some point. I don't know.
A bird, yeah.
Can Glover float?
Glover is pretty aerial, so maybe a bird, a flightless bird. Yeah.
I don't think we should try to apply this sort of nomenclature to Glover.
This is an evil question.
Yeah.
This is an evil question that could... Well, no, it's not an evil question, but this question could potentially get very evil answers. I don't know. After Solon's very intentional murder plan of Glover, I feel like anything to do with Glover can potentially lead to evil things, and we have to be careful around here in regards to Glover territory. So, subject warning, Glover.
Yeah, if Glover breaks one of his fingers, do you have to send him to the glue factory? Is that the question you're going to know? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Jules also asks, is Mappy the only good cop? I would say that, again, I feel like I don't think Mappy grasps the concept of what law enforcement is. I just think he's wearing a little cop outfit and is going around rescuing the fucking little baby mice or whatever. I don't remember what Mappy's doing in that game.
Yeah, he's like he's saving them from cats, like evil ass cats, right? Is that the?
No, I don't even. No, I think he's like. I think he's stopping like jewel thief cats. I think that's what it is.
Oh,
because it's Flicky, where the bird is saving the little baby birds from the cats. That's Flicky. Yeah. Mappy, I think, is trying to like stop jewel thieves or some shit. I don't fucking know. Look, I don't think you should. Yeah, listen. Here's where I stopped thinking with Mappy. I hear that fucking music and I'm just like, this shit slaps. I'm gonna jump around on trampolines and close some doors. And that's where I think you need to stop right there. You just gotta stop right there.
Well, I am rereading the plot to well, it's not plot, it's just the gateway to Mappy. It says right here, Wikipedia, citing Wikipedia. The player guides Mappy, the police master, to mansion the cat's called. He is stealing from the rich.
So is he stealing from the rich?
Hold on, there's something at odds. Well, he's not stealing from the rich. He's stealing. He's taking back stolen goods from the rich. Well, see, there you go. I don't. There's something. There's a dynamic here going on in regards to.
I don't
not being clear.
I don't think that there's like I don't think Mappy is a moral good. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I think what?
This is a gray area.
I just think it's a fucking mouse. I don't think we can apply human issues to this mouse. Well,
listen, if I am following what this is written. I don't know if this is accurate but it says right here, Mappy is stealing, not stealing. I mean, is taking back stolen goods from these rich cats. If Mappy is bringing this back to like the mice, like I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm pretty sure it's a good thing.
Sure.
Mappy is like avenging
the stolen treasures of the mice
from these rich fat cats, literally rich fat cats.
All right. Yeah.
So here you go.
Yeah.
And him being in a cop outfit is probably just coincidental.
I mean, he's just like bouncing around on fucking trampolines. That's all he does. And that music is just like dun 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 dun, and it's so good. Oh, that music is Namco had such good music back then. So we got a question here from Maverick, who could not be on today, but is still here in spirit by asking this question.
Another friend of the site, yeah.
Works on the site. I would go so far as to say, not just a friend of the site.
Is part of us, yes.
A friend to us all. Maverick asks, what's your Monkey's Paw game release like in terms of a game that would have an A+ in one quality, but then suck ass in another that would make it hard for you to recommend, or an IP that you'd love to see revisited, but is done so in the way that's hardest for you to fully appreciate it? Okay, so I'm guessing that like he's asking about like something that is real, something that has come out. Like, what is something that came back that, or something that seemed to be absolutely your shit, but turned out to be a flop in some way, or something that came back and completely sucked in some way.
I remember being really disappointed by the Little Witch Academia game.
Right.
I did not like it. Yeah, I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. I just, it was not what I expected, It was it's a side-scrolling role-playing game, but it felt very much limited in the scope of what it was. Like, when you watch the series, just for anyone who doesn't know what this is an anime series about basically, like, these gals going to, like, a witch school, like, a witch boarding school, and it's cool, and they have adventures, and, they do things like visit the town and do all these different, different things, and it's just a very exploratory series that's about, like, this universe, and, like, it's not a huge universe, but, it's just a lot of story is based around the fact of, like, you're learning what the rules of this world are, and, like, that's cool, but, like, the game itself was very much confined to the school itself, and it was just like kind of like a dungeon explorer to an extent, where it's a side-scrolling dungeon explorer. And like, visually it was cool, it was fun, but then it just felt very limited. It was like, oh man, I wish like there was actually stuff you could do, like, you know, outside of school. You were just very confined to school, because that was what the plot of the game was. Like, something bad, some weird ass portal opened up, or they found basically a weird entrance to the, you know, I forgot exactly what the details were, but that it was just confined to the school. And I was like, that is not what the series was about, you know? Like, yes, it's based in the school, but there's more to it. Like, it felt like a very limited scope of what the world is. So yeah, I think like, it also came out kind of not that far from when the series happened, but I just remember, like, you know, so I don't know, to make it more relevant to the question, but like, it was just more like, yeah, I want more Little Witch Academia content. But then, and so I got the game, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's not that great, or at least it's not what I expected. You know, that said, there are like a lot of like, you know, Magic Academy or like Witch Academy, you know, like there's a lot of witchy games coming out that feel more in vein to what I was expecting. So at least there's that, you know, a lot of them in the indie scene from what I saw, for instance. So, but no, there's that Witch RPG, coming out at some point, I know, in development. That's like one, for instance, that could replace that, but that's like one coming to mind. I don't know if that really answers the question, but that was certainly like an IP I liked and was disappointed by the video game version of it. So, that answers some part of it, but maybe there's another example in my mind that's not coming immediately yet.
I feel so fucking insane bringing this game up all the time. It's probably actually been a long time since I brought this up, but I talked to folks about it recently. It's fucking Dark Void. Do you remember? Do you remember? Are you aware of Dark Void?
I'm not.
It was a Capcom game.
Oh yes, is this like the jetpack?
Yes,
yeah.
It was a jetpack game.
Yeah, there's like a jetpack.
I was hype as fuck for that game. I was so hyped for it. They sent me like a goodie bag because I was talking about it so much on Twitter. They were like, here's some free stuff. I have like a lithograph signed by a bunch of people from the team of that game because I was talking about it so much on Twitter. Yeah,
that's rules.
That game is not good. And I was very crushed.
Yeah, I don't hear about it a lot. Yeah. So yeah,
there was a spin-off game that they like cranked out that was like an NES style game called Dark Void Zero that is 100% better than the base game. And it was just because of the third person sections. When you're on the jetpack, when you're flying around, it's pretty fun. But like a good maybe 75% of the game, you are on the ground and you are just having a really, really bad time doing like fucking chest high wall third person shooter shit.
Yeah.
I'd say that's definitely a Monkey's Paw game. Where it's just like, yeah, I wanna have this really cool flight game where you're flying around, like basically playing the Rocketeer, but no, you're just on the ground most of the time. And it's not good. I would love for somebody to just make something basically that. I would love for Capcom to try that again. Like, that's the shitty thing about the games industry is that, or just most industries in general, is that nobody will, you know, remake a bad game because it was bad and nobody wants, and everyone's like, why are you going back to that? Like, it's like current day Capcom, especially with how good Capcom has been recently, I think they should give Dark Void another shot. But they never will, and that's a bummer.
I know another one that comes to mind. The Mirror's Edge sequel.
Ooh, okay.
yeah, and that was like, oh god, that took like, yeah. I remember, the gap between those two. So yeah, it was really. So what stood out to me was just like this. It was ultimately one of those things where nothing stood out to me about that. Where like, oh, we didn't need this after all, did we? You know, like Mirror's Edge was very impressive for when it came out, like really early 2000s, 2008, yeah, I think. And people were like, oh, this is cool. And I agreed, like, oh, this is something new. Like, I don't think we ever seen something that looked like that or even felt like that at that point in time. So then when something like a Mirror's Edge sequels, you know, like, so people were like, yeah, we want more, you know, makes sense. I agreed at that point in time. I was like, yeah, of course, this is cool. We should see more of it. And then, like, this game, like, the sequel came out, like, which is technically a prequel, I think. Yeah, it was a prequel for Fate's backstory. Almost 10 years later, we get this sequel. And, like, there's still been so many other games at that point in time where that already, you know, have accomplished even further what the original Mirror's Edge has done, if not, you know, took inspiration from it, right? And done better, right? So then basically, yeah, you have now, like, an outdated game coming out, like, almost 10 years later that, you know, like, the allure of Mirror's Edge is, like, this is not special anymore. This is now just boring, right? And yeah, we didn't need a weird backstory for this character. That's a little, yeah. So yeah, I don't think anything else is going to come out of that. And I don't think we need to now, you know, like, I think Mirror's Edge is one of those pieces of art, like a game where it's like, yeah, this is very much like an interesting thing that succeeded because of when it came out at that point in time. Now it's just like, if you try to do that again, it's now just dated. It set up a convention and now like it just became the convention, right? You know? So yeah, that was something that comes to mind. I don't even remember finishing it. I was just like, oh, I'm not, you know, it was just like fatigue at that point, right? It's like, why am I excited for this? But certainly I don't think we're going to see anything of that name anymore.
All right. And last question here. This is a very trying question, I feel like, especially because of what Wheels and I have been getting up to lately. Harlequin Wheels asks, which video game characters would make the most and least normal TikToks? So he's asking this because we've kind of gotten a little addicted to watching really bad Danganronpa TikTok compilations.
Oh my god. No, for sure. Danganronpa is like the main piece of media I think about, because Danganronpa is so popular. I was literally talking about this with coworkers. It was just funny being right up because I think one coworker was like, yeah, you should, not to me, but to another coworker, like, you should try this if you like, you know, and like in a sincere way. Like, but then, yeah, it went into our conversation about like, yeah, that is a piece of media that is pretty popular with the Zoomers right now. So I am not surprised that it's on TikTok because like, yeah, you see the cosplay side of TikTok, and a lot of people love Junko. Like, it's just, oh god, oh no, truly a villain, like making her way into through the influence of the teens. It's so weird. Yeah. It's so weird, but also I expect it. You know, it makes sense in a weird way.
Yeah, I don't want to be too mean because, you know, they're mostly teens and all that, but
yeah,
I don't get...
Yeah, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be cringe. It's fine. Whatever.
I don't get the makeup, though. I don't get the nose. I don't get the really, like...
Oh...
Like, I don't get it. I don't get it, you know?
The emphasis on the, yeah.
They do, like, really heavy eye makeup, too, with, like... I'm not just talking about, like, you know, like, heavy eyeliner or whatever. I mean, they do, like...
Yeah.
The kind of stuff you would see on, like a drag show, kind of.
Right.
And I'm just, like... And it's just, like, you're just dressed up as, like... Mahiru, you know, like, I mean, like, because like if you're going to like a drag show, like everything about that is supposed to be like, you're supposed, like, those outfits are supposed to be super over the top, but like if you're just like just like in a sundress and in a cosplay wig, I don't know why you're doing like drag makeup. It doesn't make that much, you know, it's not. I guess it's not for me. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just
I get what you mean. I think unfortunately maybe it is. I think it's like a habit of like they see makeup tutorials, but then they're not using the makeup for the appropriate outfit. You know, like, you know, so that's the thing. Like, you know, it's like, oh, okay, for thing, and I think a lot of like standard makeup industry stuff has been for a long time at this point has been picking up on like tricks and like easy techniques from like what drag makeup does, you know, and they owe a lot of thanks to that. Like, here's like, so I think unfortunately there's a conflation now though of like, maybe people see tutorials of that stuff and don't realize, oh, this is not appropriate for this sort of outfit. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, if they're at home, whatever, like, that's them. You do your makeup whatever you want. But I know what you mean. There's like, but also I think there is a weird specific look where doing that over the top makeup does make you look like a cartoon character, right? So, and it does, like, there's definitely an effect to that. It makes your face look flat in a way. I think that's intentional too, maybe.
Sure.
But yeah, who knows? Just wear your makeup however you want. But for sure, I get what you mean. Like, it doesn't seem like what you traditionally would think of, like...
It's off the goop.
Yeah.
You see Komeda walking around with... Yeah.
Talking Robot is on TikTok, and that is terrifying. Watch out
so
there.
Then the question still stands from Wheels. Which game characters would have the most normal TikToks and the least normal TikToks?
I think like a lot of fighting game characters will have normal TikToks. Like they would do a whole thing where they just do their training and it's set to music, you know, or like they're just showing off. I see that a lot too from my impression of TikTok, and like some like sports accounts even on other social media platforms, but they cross post it to, you know, it's like, it's a whole thing. Or they, you know, like a lot of sport, like if you look at a lot of gyms or like fitness trainers, they just do like cool moves or training exercises set to music and like whatever's trending. So that's pretty straightforward. It's like, you know, it's just a fun little thing they're doing, but also they're showing off their body. Like, hey, you like are fit as fuck and you look cool doing it, so why not? So yeah, like I think just a cute thing.
I could just see in my mind like Chun-Li having like a really like basically exactly what you're talking about, and Ken would have something similar, except he'd be always hawking some like protein shakes and shit like that. Like Chun-Li would just be Chun-Li would just be like, yeah, here's my fitness tip of the day, you know, come join me or whatever. But like,
she'd be just
Yeah, but Ken would just be like, all right, y'all, the reason I stay so fit is because I use the Masters brand protein shake, like,
oh God,
that would be what he's doing.
He'd be like shilling for something.
Yeah.
For sure. I think there's a division of like fighting game characters that are like, they're totally social media savvy. So yeah, someone like Chun-Li, I definitely picture as like, even her across, she have like cute photos. She probably showed normal outfits. Like that's awesome. And then like, yes, a character like Ken who's like, and then boomer types who are like don't know how to use social media, so like
Ryu
stuff
doesn't
is
know
awkward.
How to use, Ryu doesn't know how to use a phone. Yeah, like I mean,
like terrible angle, like.
I mean, okay, so
posted
like
something by accident. Yeah,
like maybe Sakura would like run an account for him and just be like, here's what Ryu did today.
She'll try to teach him at first.
Yeah, because
she'll try to teach him at first, and then like
there's that famous comic screenshot or whatever where he's like hen typing on a computer like, yes, I love to use the instant messenger, like that's how he's doing. But like I could just see like Sakura like following him around and being like, this is what Ryu got up to today. He went and trained under a waterfall. He got in a fist fight with M. Bison, now I'm just imagining this might be a little too mean to Sagat, but I just feel like now that they've done like, Sagat's a good guy now in Street Fighter V, I'm just imagining like Sagat basically being OJ Simpson on Twitter.
Oh no.
Just like, I used to be evil, but now I'm out here telling you to get a vaccine. Like Sagat being like, go and tiger uppercut COVID. Like,
oh no. I can see the folks from. So what's interesting about TikTok too, it's like at a weird crossroads of like, a lot of young people are using it. So now it's also a platform where you also see a lot of people trying to use it for educational reasons and like social, like protests. I can definitely see something insane and unhinged with the Final Fantasy VII folks trying to spread certain revolutionary messages.
Oh my God.
On TikTok. Like,
the Avalanche official TikTok.
Yeah, we will have the corporation, like the corporation brand, Shinra Corporation, all that, and then versus like, our fun-loving rebellious kids, our main characters, just Cloud and all that, just running amok, like trying to make viral TikToks to educate people and like shit on the Shinra like TikTok, like stuff like that for sure. But these are so far normal ways, ways I don't know in terms of unhinged ways, but
I'm just imagining like Barrett trying to do like a like some sort of thing like where like they have him like silhouette or something and they like change his voice or whatever.
Oh God,
you
like on a green screen.
Very obviously see him like shaking his gun arm, just like the planet's dying, everybody, you gotta get it, like I'm trying to think. Okay, those are all pretty normal, but who would be out there like doing like whatever the equivalent to them of Danganronpa cosplay dancing to fucking like White Stripes songs? God, okay, for some reason this just like hit me really hard and I don't know if I fully believe it, but I just have to put this thought out there. I feel like Luigi would have a really fucked up TikTok. I feel like he'd be out there like in all kinds of like weird cringe cosplays and like at some point Mario would just walk in and be like, Luigi, what are you doing out here? Why are you dressed up as a Komeda?
It's not Luigi, it's Mr. L.
Fuck. Yeah. Oh, yes.
He would have a persona.
Oh, he'd have a Mr. L TikTok, yes. Holy shit.
And he would not, like, there would be, like, awkward, confrontation with Mario, like, who, like, what are you, it's like, no, that's not Luigi, that's an alias.
Luigi, I found your TikTok. Yeah. That is not my TikTok, Mario, that is a Mr. L. Luigi, you are doing a dance in our living room, I see our TV.
At night?
I hear you, Luigi, I hear you in my bedroom. You are not quiet. You are knocking over the vase over and over.
Oh God!
Holy shit! And like, but like, it's his stuff's still really popular. Like Daisy's out there, like hyping it up.
Yeah, he's like viral. He has so many followers.
Everyone loves
it.
A
lot of fans.
Yeah, all the toads are sharing it.
Yeah.
Bowser fucking loves it, and he won't tell he won't admit it though. He's got like a burner account that he watches all of Luigi's fucking TikTok dances on. Bowser has a burner account, but no, Bowser absolutely has a burner account where he does not know how to be private on it, so you see his follower list and like it's following. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
no.
At some point, at some point he likes something he shouldn't have liked. Uh-oh, and you see it.
But I mean, at the same time, though, honestly, I could also see Bowser just having like, I don't know if he'd have a TikTok, but I could just like in my mind's eye, I could see the fucking like, okay, he would have like a Bowser's Kingdom Twitter account where he's just like out there like posting like, oh, we're so powerful, we're so cool, we're gonna get you, Peach.
Yeah, an official face. Yeah.
But then he'd also have like he'd be one of those people that's like has like a personal account, like it'd be like my personal is blah blah blah, and all he would do is just tweet about like going out on like hanging out with Junior. Like he'd just be like, me and Junior went and did this today. Like that, it would just be like a bunch of pictures and videos of him and Junior.
Yeah, actually, like sweet dad stuff. Yeah, certainly.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, oh, me and Junior went and played golf today. Me and Junior went and rode go-karts today. That would be what I'd want to see from Bowser. Yeah, all right. we put out I feel like us putting out Mr. L TikTok superstar has really changed the game, so I think we can leave it.
Yeah, I think that's a strong answer for now. If we
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And thank you, LV, for being on.
Yeah, totally.
If you folks want to keep up with us, it is videogamechoochoo.com is our website. We have our Twitter at VGCC. We have our Tumblr account, videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com. We have our Discord server. If you want to come hang out with us, it is the gamezone.zone. You type that into your web browser, and it'll bring you straight there. We have a YouTube page. You just look up Video Game Choo Choo. We have a Facebook, facebook.com/Video Game Choo Choo. We have a Twitch, twitch.tv/VGChoochoo. Go subscribe, go follow us. We're probably going to try to stream more because, the Back 4 Blood stream was fun. I wasn't there, but I know you all had as good of a time as you could while wrestling with that game.
God, yep.
Thank you to Melt Channel/Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. And I will once again especially implore you to go to patreon.com/VGCC and support us. It's just $3 a month for all of our stuff a week early. We recently did our Unlimited Railworks episode about Panty and Stocking, and LV also did an extra bonus write-up for Panty and Stocking that we usually keep those up on the Patreon. We don't really host those on the site, so go check out our Patreon to see those extra write-ups. Of course, the main reason why I'm highlighting it is because we are working on our site redesign. It is going. It's really exciting. This is something that we've been talking about for a while, but it's actually really happening, and we need the money. We have the money to cover it, so we're not gonna, this isn't like a dire like, oh god, we need more funds thing, but the more money we have, the more things we can do at once. There might be some stuff that we might have to put off for a little bit. The more support we get, the more things we can do. So feel free to check us out. If you can't, just keep sharing our stuff. Just retweeting our stuff helps us out a ton. Retweet the podcast, retweet our reviews. We've got more reviews coming up. LV, you have a review that should be up by the time people hear this.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to try my best to have a review out probably a little bit after you all hear this. We got all kinds of stuff coming up. So, just keep an eye on what we're doing. And LV, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at LVMAEPARIAN at LVMAEPARIAN Twitter. That's where I am at.
And of course you can find me at JOHN_MICHONSKI. That's John_Machonsky on Twitter. And that'll do it. Thank you so much for listening, everyone, and we'll be back next week with another episode of the Video Game Choo Choo podcast. So long.